So now we're recording, and great to see everybody today. My name's Calvin Craig. I'm the Information Access Librarian here at Gaston College. And I want to take some time to talk to you about the resources that we have available for you here at Gaston College, because there's so much stuff that's available through your library. Now, we are still open physically. We try to keep social distancing and we clean the facility quite often, but you can come in and use the library if you want to. I just want to make mention to you that our library hours have changed a little bit. So it's pretty easy to remember because we're only open Monday through Thursday. We're open 7:30 until 6. We're here to be able to help you out with anything that you need. Staff members are there. Now, of course, the great thing about the library is that it is a collection and a warehouse for book material that we have. We have 50,000 books available for you to check out. Through our library catalog, however, you do have the ability to search and borrow books from other libraries to have those items sent from those libraries here for you to check out. So you actually have over 1 million items available to you. And that's from the physical collection. However, today I'm going to show you a lot of the electronic materials that you have available through your computer that you have access to, because we have ebooks that are available for you to read cover to cover, the whole thing available for research. We have articles from magazines, newspapers, and journals. We have academic streaming videos. We have statistical information. We have a wide variety of stuff for you available to you from the library. Now, we're going to start out by going to the Gaston College homepage, and I'm going to show that screen in just a second to show you how you can get to the library homepage. But I have created a guide for this class and also for the 112 class. And links for those will be sent to your instructor at the end of this session. Also, since we're recording this, I'm going to upload this to YouTube. So if anybody missed anything, your instructor knows that she can set that link up for those people, as well as if you guys want to go back and take a look at this again, then you can come back and see this video and see something that you might have missed or hear something again. I actually try to record a lot of the sessions that I do. So there's a lot of videos on our YouTube page that are useful to help you find things. Some of them are full length, hour long like this, but some of them, if you look through it, we have little 4 or 5 minute sessions that talk about specific topics of how you search for things, and that's available on our YouTube page. So that'll be linked for you to take a look at as well. So let me come over and do my share screen. Let me hit, All right, so hopefully people are seeing the Gaston College homepage, and that should be a very familiar place for you to go to. Now, the neat thing about Gaston College is while there's several places you can find the library link on this page, they put us right smack up here at the very top of the page in between GC Foundation and Lincoln Campus. So we're really easy to find. So when you click library, that's going to take you to this page, and here's our library homepage. Now, I want to point out a couple of things about this. There are a lot of links on this page. It might be a little bit confusing to decide which way am I supposed to go to find stuff. I do want to let you know that I categorized types of material under headings of how to search for books, how to search for articles, and how to search for videos. And the resources that are listed underneath are resources to help you find that type of information. But again, I've given you a guide that I'm going to send to your instructor. Then that's the page I'm going to show you today. That's going to make things a lot easier, and it'll flow a little bit easier for you to find information. I want to let you know, though, on this home page, there is a chat box over here underneath where it says research help. So if you need any help 24/7, we have a chat feature available to you. Might not be a librarian that answers this chat even in the middle of the night. We're not manning it as the Gaston College librarians all the way through, but we do have staff members from across the state of North Carolina that man this. So if you have any questions, you can ask it of us or them, and they'll be able to help you out. As well, I have this chat feature on the homepage that I'm going to show you for the library resources for English 111 and 112. So how do you find this stuff on the library homepage? Again, you don't have to memorize this part because I'm going to send you the link. But if you come up to this tab that says class guides, I got a ton of different guides that I've created. Some of them are subject specific. Some of them are dealing with different library resources. We've got a 3D printer here in the library. But then there are also resources for particular classes. So at the very beginning, alphabetically, you'll see some of the ACA class links. You'll come down past biology, business, chemistry, communications, get all the way down to the E's, and you got your English classes. So I've got a link for English 111, and I've got one for English 112. One of the things that I haven't done right now, it's going to take 2 seconds to do it when I'm finished today, is I have a couple of extra things that I've added to this 111 class that I need to put into the 112 class. That'll be done really quickly. But if so, don't worry about anything. But when you go back into this, it'll be, identical. You won't miss anything. But for today, I'm going to go into this English 111 Marquardt because this is the one I finalized for you. So when you click it and you come in, this is what you're going to see as far as your splashdown page for this class. So again, there's contact information for me on the side. There's a chat feature underneath my contact information over here. The YouTube button that's here, those are for those videos that are on our Gaston College Library's YouTube channel. That's again where this class is being recorded, and it will be put onto that page. And also, Gaston College has a tremendous writing center. And so I do have a link for them as well. They can help you out. Now, they're doing virtual services for you, but they can help you out with polishing up your papers. I'm going to show you how you can do some citations, but they are also going to be a great resource to help you on that process as well. And then I've got a little rotating banner up here of just some example research topics that you might want to take a look at. And the last thing I want to show you on this homepage is this thing called the ProQuest Research Companion. Now, I'm not going to click that link, but that is something for you to kind of have on your own to know that it's available. What that is that is a tutorial guide that reinforces how you can be a great college level researcher, whether that's at Gaston College or if you decide to further your education and go on to another school. This is some great tools. It reinforces some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today, but it's all encompassing. It talks about a lot of different options available for you so that you become a great, efficient researcher. So that's a great resource for you to go into and take a look at, and you can do that on your own. It's a free thing that's available to you. Now, from the top of the page, I've talked about what's in the home tab. That's highlighted here, and that's everything on this home page. So we're going to talk about the tabs. We're going to move left to right. So the next tab to the right is selected topics. And so this is just some research topics. It might not be a topic you're even thinking of. Maybe it is. There's some just to generate ideas of different research topics. I've got those listed here with just some critical questions that you can ponder to think about, to be a little bit more specific in your thinking, to think about a particular topic of interest. So that goes all the way down to this list, and there's a lot of things that are here for you to pick from, but I got a great resource up here in the top left that's called the SIRS Issues Researcher, and that's a great place to get started. And when you click it, it'll take you into a login page so that you can get access to it when you're off campus. Now, it doesn't recognize me, so I'm going to put in my login. So what it's asking for is your Blackboard login, or your network login. So for Ms. Marquardt, it's actually might not be your Blackboard login as a faculty member. It's going to be your network login that you use to get on with the computers. But for everybody else, it's going to be your network login. But if anybody runs into a problem, do you see what I just typed into this box? GCNC Live. If you make a note of this, if you type in GCNC Live for both the username and password, it'll log you in. So if it doesn't log in with yours, you can use that if you want to as just a bypass to kind of get in. And once it gets you logged in, you'll come to this homepage. So now we've got a lot of different trending topics that are mentioned here on this page: social media, homework, climate change, popular culture, human trafficking. So these are some example topics to pick from. What the company has done too is they've also categorized topics. So it says if you need any help choosing, maybe you want to go into a different category group to take a look at the topic. And so if you were looking for things dealing with topics of crime and punishment, you could select the ones that deal with crime and punishment if you want to. Or if you want to, by either arrowing back one or coming up here to this drop-down menu, You can pick another subject area. This is business and economics. If you want to come down to school, family, and youth, you could do that. Or even better, you could come down to this one that says all leading issues. When you click it and you click this little box over here to the right by sort by that says A to Z, if you click it, you'll see a huge alphabetical list of tons and tons of topics for research. So there's a lot of stuff that's here. Some of the terms that are on here are things you may be familiar with. Some might be topics that you're not as familiar with, but it really doesn't matter because it'll teach you what it's talking about. Let me give you an example of that. So if you wanted to find out more information dealing with cyberbullying, if you weren't familiar with what cyberbullying is and you click it, it's going to tell you right here that cyberbullying involves using email and social media and cell phones to send bad messages to people, It has psychological effects. And people would take that major topic and condense it down into a question that you could argue pro and con, such as should schools and lawmakers do more to protect kids from cyberbullies? Some people would say that anti-bullying laws can help prevent cyberbullying, and some people might think that teaching digital citizenship is the better response, and how to use social media responsibly is better than creating more laws and legislation. Now, these three links are to articles that support this viewpoint, and these three links support viewpoint number one. And if you click any of these, it'll take you to the article. And when I'm meaning article, I'm meaning something that's coming back primarily from magazines and newspapers and journals. In fact, this one comes back from a newspaper called the Baltimore Sun. That's the major newspaper in Baltimore. The article is written by Jess Nocera, and the article is called Howard Schools to Create Their Own Bullying Online Reporting System. It came out February 28th of 2020, so it's fairly recent, well, about a year ago stuff. If you used information from this article, you can cite it because any article that you land on will always have under use this document a link for cite, and it'll give you the MLA citation, and you can roll across it and copy it, or you could click the copy button and then you could paste it into your works cited page at the end of your paper. So that's a really great feature that these databases provide, is they provide the citations for you. You just have to look for that cite button. And in this case, anytime you land on an article, you'll see the cite button here on the right. Now I'm going to arrow back a page and show you that while they do try to split things out into these two viewpoints, and they assign 3 articles for this one and 3 articles for that one, that doesn't mean there's only 6 articles available on this topic. If you click this link that says find more sources for cyberbullying, you'll see that there's tons and tons more articles available. There's a lot of links that are down here, and this is some information for you to go into, and it will tell you again if it's from a magazine or a newspaper, or in the left-hand side, you could even select, maybe I only want to see the newspaper articles. So if you click newspapers, that's all you're going to see. You can uncheck it if you want to, and maybe just look at the magazine articles if you want to. Now, keep in mind that this database company also provides something called scholarly journals, and you can look at just those journals if you want to. Just keep in mind that journals are very research specific, sometimes written for other researchers in a particular field. They're very subject specific in what they cover. There's journals of law and education. There's one called Prevention Researcher. There's one here called American Secondary Education. That's where these articles were originally published, and they're from these journals. So what the company is trying to tell you is they're going to tell you the type of information that you're finding. Just keep in mind that journals, again, can be a little bit more jargony, but magazines and newspapers are written more at a level that we can all kind of understand. They're all useful for the use for research, and anytime an instructor says, I want you to use a source, magazine articles are sources, journal articles are sources, newspaper articles are sources, and there's also a wide variety of other categories of sources that can be included too. But that's primarily what you're finding when you come into a database like SIRS Issues Researcher. Another cool thing that it has available to you is in the publication date. If you only want to see the last 30 days, worth of articles. You can get the most recent stuff, or you can even customize to the last year or even a particular customization date range if you want to use in the boxes below. These are called limiters, and limiters will allow you to manipulate the search results that you get back, and hopefully you'll be getting back more on topic with what you want, especially when it deals with the time of the information or the type, the source type of information you're looking for. Now, if I go back, I'm going to click the home page and come back to this original home screen that we were at and just pick another one at random and say, well, I mean, it says this thing says virtual classrooms. What is that talking about? I mean, I kind of know what virtual classrooms are, but why is that an issue or a topic? Again, you can select another one. Basically, the drop-down pages look similar to each different subject area. They just change the name up here, and then you'll see the description changes here. The viewpoint changes as well too. And so this one is talking about how online classes, some people are saying that are as beneficial as face-to-face instruction. Some people would say it helps provide a variety of experiences. Other people say online learning cannot replace the experience of real-time instruction in the classroom. And again, these three articles support that view, and these three support this one. But you can click find more, and you can get a lot more articles to come back. Do want you to know though, that sometimes you'll get timelines that'll come back. And again, these descriptions of here are really good to kind of get you grounded in a topic. It's not necessarily the stuff that you're going to source or you're going to use as a cite for your paper. You want to cite from the actual articles themselves, the article links down below that are newspaper articles or magazine articles. Those are the ones you want to actually use as your works cited links. These are just background information for you to kind of get grounded in a topic, maybe read some of it and know the vocabulary related to that topic to help you out. But SIRS Issues Researcher is one of my favorites, great one for you to go into, and because it's topically driven. And so you can explore tons and tons of topics through this particular database. I'm going to take a little pause right now. Does anybody have any questions about the library that I went over, about all the hours and all that kind of stuff, or the resources that we have, or this first resource, SIRS Issues Researcher? Okay, great. So what I've done is I've introduced you to this first resource, and it opened up into a new tab. So I'm just going to close that tab out and come back to where I had originally clicked on that link under selected topics. And then again, this is a good one for you to get started with. But if you come over to this drop-down menu, this is going to help you explore a lot of different resources the library has for you, built by the type of resource we have available to you. So in SIRS Issues Researcher, we found magazine articles, newspaper articles, journal articles. There's a few other source types that were in there too, but that's primarily what they have. If you wanted to find more articles for research, if you come down to where it says how to, the middle one says find articles. So how to find articles. If you click that tab, it's going to take you to this page. And folks, over here, there's 3 links, one of which I've already talked to you about, SIRS Issues Researcher, one which I'm not going to click on, but I want you to know it's there, and it's a really nice one for you to kind of explore on your own, called Credo Reference. There's a description down here of what Credo has, but Credo Reference is kind of another place where you might want to go to kind of get background information on your topic. You can cite from it if you want to. It's not as much full-length articles as it is brief factual information to help you get grounded on the vocabulary that you might want to use to go into search with. Because while SIRS Issues Researcher is great, it has things listed by the database, by the topics, you want to do keyword searching when you come into a resource like ProQuest Central. Folks, this very first one here called ProQuest Central holds about 95% of all the resources that Gaston College has. It's all encompassing. It covers a lot of things. And when you click it, you can come in and do keyword research. Now, I logged in to SIRS Issues Researcher, so you shouldn't have to log in again when you click on another link like this. It went to the homepage. If you close everything out, you close your browser session, all that stuff out, anytime you come back to the library, you do have to log in. But if you are in a session and your browser's up, you can bounce around from resource to resource without having to log in multiple times. So now we're into ProQuest Central, and we can do keyword searching. So I'm going to do an example topic for you. I'm going to try some articles that are dealing with issues dealing with the nursing shortage. So we have this issue of we need nurses, we need healthcare workers in the field. And so the first thing I want to do is find any articles that deal with this topic of nursing shortage. So if I type in nursing shortage and I just hit enter, it's going to run out and find those two words wherever it shows up in any article in any position, whether it's side by side or in even two different paragraphs. Now we got 236,000 hits by just typing in those two words. But if I put quotations around it to make it have to come back side by side and rerun my search again, that may change the hit results. And so it went down to 41,000. So now that's still a lot of hits, but it's not as many as we had before. The reason we do this, the reason we put the quotations is we want to find it side by side. This is called relevancy. It's possible that if we had the word nursing in a paragraph and the word shortage in another paragraph, it might not be talking about the nursing shortage. So we want to find that together. That's a good strategy to do. If you're looking for two words side by side, put it in quotes. The next thing that you might want to do is you could ask of yourself, you could say, well, I got 41,000 hits. Is there anything more specific I'm interested in? Well, maybe, nursing shortage can lead to stress and stress on the job. So maybe logic would dictate to me that if I'm looking for articles dealing with nursing shortage, an author that's writing about it is probably going to have the word nursing shortage, the term, in the article. And if they're talking about issues dealing with stress, they're probably going to have that word in there too. So how do I combine that together? I actually write the words and I put in the new term. So I'm going to put in and stress. It's kind of like I'm talking to the database. I want to find this and this in the same search. And when you tell it to do that, you'll get less hits and hopefully more relevant hits because you've become a little bit more specific in your searching. You could do it even more. You could say, well, what if I'm interested in articles that deal with nursing shortage and the stress of it and the state of North Carolina? And I just want to have articles that talk about the state of North Carolina in relation to this. Well, you could type that in. I put the quotations to keep North and Carolina together. Don't worry about capitalization. Those rules apply in English classes and papers, not in searching. So when we hit enter, we get 995 hits. Still a lot of hits, but that's not 200,000 hits that we got initially when I put in nursing shortage. So this is a way for you to narrow stuff down. And also, folks, this is a way to help relieve frustration, I hope, because a lot of times people come in and they can be a little bit too general in their search. They get too many hits and they're like, this thing's not for me. I'm going back to Google. We want you to feel comfortable using this stuff. This is the good stuff, okay? So come in and use this information. Now, here's another thing that's going to kind of throw off on you too, is it has a mixture of sources, journals, newspapers, magazines. Remember when I told you before that newspapers and magazines are a little bit more written to a level that we kind of all understand, but journals can sometimes be over our head. Well, this other term, without getting to the weeds of what it is, dissertations and theses can also be kind of jargony too. If you want to, if you click this more button that's underneath, you can tell the database that you only want certain types of stuff to come back. So if you only want the newspapers and the magazines to come back, you can check those and exclude the other resources. And you can include and exclude just however way you want to do it. At this point, now I only have the newspapers and magazines come back, and it's telling me here that these are all newspaper articles that are coming back. There's probably a mixture of magazines. I don't see, here's one right here on hit number 12. So there's a magazine right there. And so all of these are full text articles for you to read. So anytime you click the link, that's the article title. Just like we clicked the links over in Service Issues Research, that was the title of the article. So there we go. And then it's going to have the other information to tell you where it came from. In this case, it was published in something called US Fed News Service. That's the publication. It came out March 2008. And this one does not have an author attributed to it. So if you come over to your cite button, you're not going to start out seeing an author name. It's going to go straight into the title. But I'll pick this one specifically because there is a little bit of wonkiness. Little bit. It's not the worst thing in the world, okay? A little bit of wonkiness with these databases. Sometimes when a company sends their information over, like the title of the article, sometimes this happens where they'll put it in all caps. And when they put it in all caps here and you hit cite, they'll put it in all caps in the citation as well. You're not really supposed to do that when you're citing. You're only supposed to capitalize the important words within the title itself. So, you could have an instructor that could kind of count that off or say that's not really how you're supposed to do stuff. So I just want to point out that sometimes when you copy and paste this stuff, you just have to look over it just to make sure that everything kind of looks right. And if anything looks funky looking, like this all caps, ask your instructor or ask people in the writing center or ask me, with the chat feature, or contact me directly. I mean, we'll be glad to help you straighten that out and figure out what's going on. Now, another thing to kind of mention too is that whenever you come in and you click on an article, if it's an article you really like, over on the right-hand side, and this happened in Service Issues Researcher too, I just didn't point it out, but you'll get these links on the right-hand side. If they're related items, sometimes these articles, if this one is one you like, the one you picked, the possibility of you getting another one that's really good on the same kind of information is better from this list than even if you could go back and pick from the original result list that you got just based on keyword terms. And that has to do with the fact that the database company has a lot more relations that they build together with articles than just looking for words that show up in articles. They also look at different subject headings and things like that. So again, if you click onto an article and you like it a lot, the ones on the right over here may also be, more inclined to be ones that might help you out as well or fall in line with what you need. So just wanted to point that out as well. Now,
I just had a quick question. When you're searching on that previous page and you put nursing shortage in quotations and stress, and do you have to put the and in there?
Yes, that's a good question. It's not something that you do when you Google search, because Google actually takes all words and just behind the scenes knows that it wants you to find and all of them together. But this is an important thing for you to do when you're doing searching in library resources. It's called Boolean searching, and it's a way for you to kind of think of it as a way that which you're kind of talking to the database and you're telling it, I want to find these specific terms. So when you're searching, you're not searching for you're not going to type in, I need to find articles about nursing shortage in North Carolina and how it is stressful for the people in this profession. You don't do that. You might write that down on a piece of paper, and then you select out the specific nouns or topics that you're interested in, proper names of things that you're interested in, and those are the key words. And then when you put those in the database, you're saying you got to combine them with and to say, I got to find this and this and this in the same article. So it is a little bit more structured in the way that you use it. But it is important for you to do that, or else you might get some weird results if you do not do that. Any other questions?
Not for me. That was it.
Okay, appreciate it, Jacob. All right, so I'm going to go and close this one out and get back to this drop-down menu that we have here. We have taken a look at servers. We've taken a look at ProQuest. I'll let you look at Credo on your own. If you come back to the how-to, I've got a lot of other things that are available for you to find, like how to find videos. So there's a lot of YouTube videos that are out there, but Gaston College has this really great resource here called Films on Demand. And Films on Demand has about 40,000 videos. I'm going to click it. It will tell me, it changes all the time. It actually goes up every day. They add new stuff. We got 46,000 videos that are coming back from this particular resource. And they're on a wide variety of different subjects. And so I could come in and say, well, maybe I want to type in COVID-19, see if they have anything on that. So now I've got a video on COVID-19 immunity, recovery, education. You can go in and click any of these, either the play button here, or you could click the link, and that'll take you into kind of the drop-down page for that particular video. When you get on that sort of that landing page for that video, this one is a segment that's in the broader video called Decoding COVID-19, and this one's called COVID-19 Recovery. So this is 3 minutes out of a 53-minute video, but you can see that you can watch the whole video if you want to. So it kind of pointed you to a segment, but it's part of a larger thing. If you come over here and hit cite the video, You can do the MLA citation if you want to. So magazines, newspapers, journals, those are sources. Videos can be sources as well. So if you want to, you can cite videos by coming in and clicking the MLA citation right over here. Now, the other thing that's kind of neat about Films on Demand is while they segment things, so you could jump around from segment to segment if you want to by clicking these links. You also have a transcript that's over here. This is a summary of all the text in the video itself. And you can scroll through this. You can click on certain areas and it'll pick up. It'll highlight the words as they're speaking them. The reason I like this is because some people are visual learners and some people like to have, the word with it. And instead of having just the closed captioning, which it does have on the screen, you have this you got more text to kind of look at before and after. But also if you're, maybe somebody says something in the video and you want to quote it, this is an easy way for you to just kind of highlight the quote and just copy it out without having to write everything down that they're saying and make sure I got all the words right. So that's kind of neat that they do provide the transcripts.
And I also feel that
for you so that you can go in and see all the text. So most of them do have the transcripts. There are some that are in here that don't have them, but I think about, probably 90 to 95% of them have transcripts that are available for you on the videos they have themselves. So this is kind of a neat feature for you to have. This is a great database for you to use. And I'm going to close out and come back to looking for another resource. So we've seen how to find articles, streaming videos, statistics. We've got two links that are here, Statista and Statistical Abstract of the US. I'm going to show you Statista as an example today. You can search Statistical Abstract if you want to on your own, but if you're asked to find certain statistical information, these could be good places to provide you with data sets and things like that. Statista is pretty cool. When you go into it, you can keyword search it. At this point, I'm going to be general in my searching. So maybe back on Service Issues Researcher, one of the things I could have explored is whether or not the Electoral College is something that we still need to use in this country. When we elect presidents in the United States, we use a system called the Electoral College. Without turning this into a political science class, the Electoral College, people have argued whether we should still have it because we don't pick any other elected official using the Electoral College. We just do it with presidents. We don't do it for senators. We don't do it for congressmen. We don't do it for mayors. We don't do it for anybody else but a president. So there's some people who would argue about the use of it. And if I were looking for just some more stuff dealing with the Electoral College, I could type that in, put it in quotations, kind of keep stuff together. And I've got a number of hits that are coming back. You could read these and see kind of what they're talking about. There's a thing here talking about the share of adults who think Biden would win the Electoral College vote. That's sort of a survey that's probably done before the election. Presidential election results are listed here. Certification stuff's listed here. So this is some of the raw data. If I click on any of them, they're going to give me kind of the raw data charts, and you can come in and explore all this data and information if you want to. But another thing that it'll do is it'll give you types of returns of information. And one of the things that it has is something called infographics. And infographics are kind of neat because if you find a graphic that's returned that kind of explains something that you want to make a point of, you might be able to find an infographic that you could use for a PowerPoint presentation or some other visual representation of data. So if you were trying to find information that's talking about there was no evidence of voter fraud, and that's a point you wanted to make, they went ahead and put that data together in a chart. And this is more than just like a bar graph. This is more of what they call an infograph. They even have a little election box over here. I mean, so they kind of do it in a more visual way of representing statistical information. And so this is a neat one for you to go into. Now, this is also a source of information that you can use. So if you got to cite it, you got your MLA citation right underneath, and you can click MLA and there's your MLA citation for you. So these companies give you the citations. So I want to just take a pause just a second to mention that the library has added value. Added value in the fact that we have the citations for you. That's pretty cool. Have you ever Googled stuff and you found a web page and you thought, wow, that's pretty cool for me to use in my research, but then you got to figure out how to cite it? that can be kind of tricky, kind of weird, kind of funky. Sometimes you don't have the names of people who've written an article online. Sometimes you might not even have the date. My articles have dates of when they're published. The other thing is when instructors tell you to stay away from Googling stuff, that can be dangerous. It can. There's a lot of weird, funky stuff that's out there when you're Googling. There's some good stuff, but you have to critically evaluate what comes back. If you come to the library, hopefully that answer is has kind of been said. You can trust this stuff. This is good stuff for you to use. So please make use of this stuff. This has better weight for you. It's going to help you out with your research. Nobody's going to hassle you on your citations, typically, at least as far as where you get your stuff from. But they might question you a lot if you're Googling things and just finding free websites that are kind of out there. Now, by the way, I'm not talking about your instructor hassling you as many other people. All right. Okay. So anyway, all right. So close this out, and we're going to come in, and then the last things that I want to show you here in the drop-down menu are books. So the library is a great resource for books, but we have ebooks. We have ebooks that are available for you to have access to. There's one lone little link here for our ebook collection. And if you come in and search it, while there is a search box up here, I'd want you to do your ebook searching in this box over here on the side. And again, if I wanted to put in something like nurse, I'm going to get back to that nursing shortage thing. I can just see anything that has that phrase of nursing shortage to come back in a book. So here's a book, talks about nursing shortage up here. There's some things talking about it there. If I click onto the title of the book, it should take me to the landing page for that particular book. And let me go ahead and put in Gaston College here. And once you get to that landing page, you should be able to click read online, and it'll take you to the cover of the book. And then you can navigate over here on the left through the table of contents, or you could use these arrows that are up here at the top of the screen, and you can navigate page by page through the book itself. And it's the whole book, cover to cover. You can make the text bigger or smaller. If you wanted to cite it, the citation button is under the quotation marks right up here at the very top. So there's your citation in MLA if you were citing from this book. So you do have electronic books that are available for you. There's quite a large selection. I think they're close to about 50,000 books that are in this collection that are available for you. Let me close it out. And come back over here to where it says how to find regular books. So that's up here at the very top. When I click it, you can go in and you can find books through our library catalog. And again, we could type in something of interest. I'm just going to put one just to get hits to come back. It's a term of factory farms. It deals with the topic of corporate farming and in America and things like that. So you get lists of books that are coming back here. The title of the book is linked, and I've got 12 hits that came back. But the neat thing is you can come up to this new search, and you could type your search in again and switch your library to all. And when you do that, you can get more hits. And why is that important? It's because now we've searched the whole community college system, and you can borrow books from other locations by doing something called placing a hold. So when I click the link for a book I want, you'll see there's a link over here to the left that says place hold, and you'll put in the barcode number from your library card, and that's going to allow you to order a book. Folks, if you don't have a library card, that's okay. And we do ask for you to physically come into the library to get a library card. You don't have to do that necessarily. Obviously, you could use our ebooks online for your research, but for anybody who's interested in it, and this is for me to give an opportunity to kind of repeat what I mentioned at the beginning, we're open Monday through Thursday from 7:30 until 6. So you can come in and you can get a library card. Now, folks, we have libraries located at the Kimbrell campus and in Lincoln campus, but right now with us kind of having to amend hours and everything, they are not going to be open right now. So you do have to come to Morris Library at the Dallas campus to get a library card. But you have to have a library card to be able to borrow from other libraries. And the other thing is if you do use the system, We don't mail stuff to your house, unfortunately. We mail it. It comes to the library, so you would have to pick up your book and then you return it to us. But this is a free thing that's available to you, and again, it opens up your borrowing from 50,000 materials that we have in our library to over 1 million items from across the state of North Carolina. So that's a lot of stuff available to you through using the placehold. So we have ran through this tab, all the different types of information. Last thing I want to show you here is that evaluating websites. I had mentioned this earlier about how you want to be a critical evaluator of the resources that you get back. Folks, this is just some videos and some information here for you to think about in terms of if you are Google searching and you want to identify whether or not it's something you want to use for your research. You might want to go over and take a look at some of these things to kind of check to see, does the website have dead links or outdated information? Does it even have a date listed? Does it have any biases? Is it objective? Who put it together? I mean, was it from a government agency or was it just somebody who got a website address and it's coming from maybe a commercial site where they're selling you a product? So just kind of keep those things in mind. The next tab is fake news. So that gets politicized in the world today, but basically it's my opportunity to tell you a little bit about social media. Social media is not a place for you to find news. Can be a great place for you to see what your friends are up to in terms of if they're going on vacations and how the kids are doing and stuff like that. Or you're sharing those things with other people. But to get your factual information, it has really become probably one of the worst places that proliferates tons and tons of lies, couched in information that looks like it's credible, but it isn't really credible at all. And sometimes the stuff that's sent to you are things that you look at, and if you believe in it, you might be more apt to say, "Oh, that's true." You really need to apply critical thinking to everything that you get back, and not just the stuff that you might automatically believe in, because it might be that what's been sent to you might not necessarily be true. So if you want to fact check some of these places, there's links over here on the left-hand side to help you out, one of which is called PolitiFact. These are some of the new PolitiFact links of stuff that they have that are talking about just different Facebook posts and messages that are on line. Like this one says, Hank Aaron's death was caused by a COVID-19 vaccine. That was false. There's a post saying Donald Trump offered his hotel to troops to sleep in after they were put in a car garage. That's false. Then some of them are marked as half true, and some of them are marked as liar, liar, pants on fire. So just kind of place for you to go to kind of take a look at those social media posts and kind of see whether or not they are good or not. There's more information down here below talking about the issue of conspiracy theories, which also get proliferated a lot online with social media. So just kind of keep an eye on some of that stuff. Maybe you want to take a look at some of these links so that you don't go into the rabbit hole of going into some of these conspiracy theories that get proliferated out on social media. You want to avoid plagiarism by using other people's words as your own. So there's a video and sort of a chart here to kind of let you understand what that is about. And lastly, I have two links here. I'm going to show you one for the MLA citation guide. If you click APA, it'll open up the APA. The MLA citation guide will give you tons and tons of information to help you out with citing your papers. The How Do I Cite drop-down menu will show you how you can cite articles. Of course, journal articles and magazine articles and newspaper articles are already cited within the library resources I've shown you. But what if you're doing something more different? Like maybe you did an interview of somebody who's an expert in the field on your topic. If you want to know how to use them as a source and cite them as an MLA citation, you can click How Do I Cite Interviews, or even if you emailed somebody. So this will give you examples over here of how you can cite telephone, email, or even personal interviews. So a lot of stuff here. I'm going to click back on the home page and tell you that, folks, this guide should be a nice go-to place for you to go to find information from the library. Again, this link is going to be provided in your Blackboard class. If you're in the 112 class, there'll be another link there too, but it's going to be same information. It's just going to say 112 up here at the top. At this point, I'm actually finished for the day. I don't know if anybody has any questions for me.
I have a quick question. So say we get confused, you get stumped anywhere along the lines doing this. Will you be at the library so we can come in and ask questions?
Yeah, so they changed our hours. So Monday and Tuesday, I'm there, and then I'm to telework on Wednesdays and Thursdays. But we have other staff members who are there on Wednesdays and Thursdays that can answer those questions. Also, the chat feature that's found here, you can chat with us if you want to. It might be myself answering, it could be other people, but that could be a useful place for you. Or you could individually email me if you wanted to. You can contact me that way. And also, I'm also recording this session again. So that's going to be posted as well. So you'll see all this stuff all over again if you want to. And that link will be provided in just a few minutes after I get everything uploaded.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, so I don't have a question, Calvin, but I do want to thank you so much for, spending this hour, 50 minutes with us, and for giving us a background of what our library has. I am going to, let members of the class know that you will be required to use library sources for every paper that you do in our class. So, that going back to that serious issues researcher is going to be critical. So maybe if Calvin could just walk us how to back and find the serious issues one, that would be great, just as a final reminder. And you will be asked to use library database sources, and when you cite it on your works cited page, I'll be able to tell it's from our library because it will give me a link back exactly to that article that you've used. All right. So our first topics that we're looking at are compare contrast, and we're going to talk more about that next week. But what you're kind of starting to even think about are two of those college level topics that you could compare and contrast. So it's not an argument, but even if you take, Calvin looked at nursing shortage. All right. So if you were interested in nursing, you could talk about, what's in a nurse's job now as compared to like when nursing started with Clara Barton, so what would it be like to be a nurse during the Civil War time? What would it be like to be a nurse during COVID time? You could compare and contrast those two things. Or you could compare and contrast different types of medical field jobs. What's the difference between being a nurse and being a doctor as far as your salary, your responsibilities, the kind of hours you keep, the kind of work environment, anything like that. So even though these might be presented as kind of more of a viewpoint or an argument, they'll at least springboard some ideas for you for what topics you might choose to compare and contrast. Okay. All right, so thanks. And Calvin, if you just take us back one more time and remind us how to get to serious issues, because
Sure.
we'll use a lot.
So right now we're back at the home page. At the very top, if you click selected topics, again on the right, those are selected topics, but the link for SIRS is here. However, SIRS is a article driven database. So if you come to how to find articles and click it, you'll find the link here too. It's the same link, it's just in two different places. So so you can trade off, you can be one or the other. If you come to this page though, once you're finished with SIRS, it becomes an easier thing to just come up here and click ProQuest if you want to find some more articles. So that's in either place under selected topics, or if you come over the drop down menu to find articles.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. So glad to spend the time with everybody.
Yes, thank you so much. And we can't wait to see you in person again.
That's right. I can't wait either.
Thanks, Calvin.
Sure, you're welcome. Hope y'all have a great day.
Yeah, you too. All right, so if you're in the 201 class that meets at 2 o'clock, go ahead and take a quick break, and I'll open our regular Zoom session up in just a few minutes. Okay, thanks.
Bye, everybody.